Hi everyone, and thanks for tuning in with us here at KCPL for another Tech Tuesday. I'm Mr. Ian from the Erlanger Branch Stream Center, and today we're going to be going over some secret tips and tricks to supercharge your Google searches. So let's get started. The first thing we'll cover is Google Tools, which is actually on the Google web page itself. So we can search up something like library news. What's the latest news? And when you search on Google, you'll see these tabs for news, images, videos, etc. But right next to that is the Tools option. And that will let you filter your results, and those tools will change depending upon the tab that you're in. So for example, under our All tab, we can filter it by time. So we can find the most breaking news in the past hour. We can also find different results. We can clear that out. Under News, we can click Tools again, right here off to the side. We can look up news or blogs, again, the time. And we can also sort it by relevance or date. Under Videos, we can click Tools yet again, and we have some different options. We can change how long we want the videos we're searching to be, the time, the quality, and all videos or ones that are closed captioned. Perhaps most useful though is going to be the tools underneath of the Images tab. So let's look up something, say like a picture of a dog. Look at all these dogs. What we can do is filter these pictures depending upon their color. For example, if I click yellow here, we get lots of yellow colored dogs. Likewise with, let's say, black, lots of black dogs. We can change it by type, so we can get clip art, so cartoons. We can do line drawings like this. I can change the color back to any color, and those will change. We have time, yet again, in case you want an image that's been posted in the past 24 hours, week, month, year. We also have usage rights, which is important if you're going to be using these images in a publication or something like that. And of course, we can change the size of our pictures from large all the way down to icon size, in case you wanted an icon of a dog. One interesting thing underneath the color tab though is going to be this transparent option. And what that will let you do is find pictures that don't have a background to them. You can see here we have like this little checkerboard pattern behind the dog here. And that means that there's no background whatsoever. So you could throw your own background into that picture in photo editing software like, say, Paint 3D, Photoshop, things like that. So there's lots of neat tools that Google provides for you right here on the web page on all the different tabs. But we can do much more by using special phrases and symbols in the actual search bar itself. And these terms are called operators. And so operators can be used on their own, they can be combined, and there's all sorts of different operators for getting or refining different results. So we can start off with OR, which is exactly what it sounds like. It searches for either X or Y, blank or blank. So, as an example, if I type in, let's say, apples, oranges, here we have lots of pictures of apples alongside oranges. So every apple has a little orange with it. Every orange has an apple with it. But if I type in apples or orange, then we can get pictures of just oranges. We can get pictures of just apples. So it's searching not only for oranges and apples, but apples by themselves and orange by themselves as well. This can be useful if you are searching for things like, say, a phone case and only certain colors. So I only want red or blue. It'll give us only red or blue phone cases here. Right next to or is and what that will let us do is search for only those two terms together. So apple and orange will give us kind of what we saw before, which is only pictures of apples alongside oranges. Likewise, if we searched for a phone case red and blue, it would only give us cases that were both red and blue. Up next is minus, which is also exactly what it sounds like. We are going to subtract something from our search. So instead of adding stuff onto our search, like apples and oranges, let's say apple, but we don't want the fruit. We actually want the company. If I type in apple with the little minus symbol here, minus fruit, that will only show us results for Apple the company, Apple Store Online. Here are some news stories about Apple, iPhone release, etc., etc. So this can be really useful when you have terms that kind of have multiple meanings, or if you, again, want to filter out certain things like colors, you can choose, I don't want a laptop that is gray. We could just type in laptop minus gray, and we should see some results about laptops you can buy that are not gray. Up next is file type, and this operates a bit differently than the other operators we've seen so far, because what we've been doing is adding stuff to our search terms. So apple and, or apple minus something. File type isn't going to involve your search term, but it's going to filter out your results to only certain types of files. So, for example, keeping with our fruit theme, we can look up fruit nutrition facts. But if you only want, say, documents on fruit nutrition facts, you don't want to go to a website or something like that, we can type in file type. We'll type a colon here, and then let's look for PDF files. And that will show you all sorts of PDF files. You can see here about nutrition facts involving fruit. So here's some information from the FDA. Here's my plate, and these are all PDF documents because we filtered out to only have PDF documents. Up next we have cite, which instead of filtering your results out by the type of file, it will filter out your results so it only involves certain websites. So again, with our nutrition facts here, we can specify cite, colon, say fda.gov. And now, if you look at our results here, here's fda.gov, the same website, because all our results are coming from the one site that we specified. And so this can be useful if you want information specifically from one site, or if you have found an article in the past but you can't remember what it was called and you remember the website that came from. That can also help filter your results out so you can find that article faster. Keeping with our theme of websites, up next is related, and that can be used entirely on its own, and that will show you websites that are related to the specified website. So let's say that you want to find some interesting crafts or some other things you can buy from places like Etsy, but you've already exhausted all the stuff Etsy has to offer. We can type in related etsy.com and we'll find some websites that are like it. Zazzle with personalized gifts and products. Artfire.com for some crafts. And this will recommend you websites that are like what you type in without actually recommending you that site. Let's see what it pulls up for kittenlibrary.org. Wow, one whole result. I guess Kitten Library really is unique. The next operator is going to be a little bit different. It's called in-text, and instead of searching for a website or the actual search term that you put in, what it's going to do is search the actual web pages or the titles of those pages for the text that you specify. So for example, let's go to goodreads.com. Then we'll type in text with no space, a colon, and then we're going to type in our quotation marks. Recommended books, and then close the quotation marks. The quotation marks are not always necessary, but if you ever have a space in your search term, like you see here between recommended and books, you're going to need those quotation marks. Otherwise, it's only going to search for in-text recommended and then books as a separate term. So let's see what comes up. And there's lots of recommended books from Goodreads. Recommended books, highly recommended books, recommended book lists, NPR recommended books, all sorts of recommendation lists from Goodreads. Last but not least is another unique operator, range, which is going to search for a whole range of numbers. So for example, 1 to 10. It does that by putting two periods, two dots between the numbers. So for example, we can look up, let's look at movies from 1989 ... to 1999. Looks like we have a Goofy movie from 1995. Down here is Fargo, Waterworld, Office Space, The Jackal, Casino, all films within that range of 1989 to 1999. So we've seen lots of neat operators that can be really useful, but every once in a while, a single operator isn't going to quite cut it for what you want to search up. Something you can do, though, is combine operators. This kind of works the same as a math equation, so things in parentheses come before things outside of parentheses. But once you get the hang of getting those built up, you can find some really specific stuff and save yourself lots of scrolling. So, for example, let's look up smartphones or tablets, and we want them to be gray or red. So you can see we've put our search terms here into parentheses for the ones that use or, and we're using and to combine those together. So we're searching for smartphones or tablets that are either gray or red. Searching that up, we see quite a few smartphones that are gray and red. We have some smartphones that are called red. We have some tablets that are colored red from Best Buy. But we can actually refine this even further. So let's say we not only want a smartphone or a tablet that is gray or red, we also don't want one that's from Apple. We can type minus and then our term, Apple. We can use another operator we went over, cite, because we only want it from, let's say, Amazon, cite, Amazon.com. Now we're going to see only results from Amazon without any Apple products, but we're still getting some things like stands instead of actual devices. So let's say minus stand as well. There we go. We don't see any stands in the pictures. Don't see any stands in the results anymore. But let's say I'm being really picky, and for our final search, after looking for smartphones or tablets, and having them be gray or red, without being Apple, without looking for stands, and from Amazon.com, let's look for something in text. Let's say I want something that only has 256 gigabytes of storage on it, because I don't want 64 gigs. I don't want something bigger. I just want 256. Let's see what comes up. Hey, all right, now we're getting some pretty specific results. It looks like, going through here, the OnePlus 7 Pro is probably going to be the phone that I want, after putting in all these specialized terms to filter stuff out. And if you tap here, you can even see it suggests what it thinks would be best given these terms. So Google will even guess what you're looking for based on the special little operators that you put in. I hope you've enjoyed learning some of these hidden tricks for Google searches. Feel free to try them out the next time you're looking for the next book or movie to grab here at the library. As always, thanks for watching and happy searching.